Yo, what's going on, you guys? And welcome back to the Anime Plus podcast. I'm your boy Aray, and I'm with my guy Owen. Owen, say what's up.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
So, as you guys probably guessed from the title of this video, we are doing a pod on Heavenly Delusion. So, this is an anime that I didn't really know about. We talked about it a little bit during our What We'll Be Watching podcast episode. And honestly, we completely glossed over this. We didn't even give it a shot. I'll be honest, we read the synopsis and it looked kind of dry, and it definitely does not do justice to how good this anime is so far. Only 2 episodes in, but yeah, it's been really good. Quick shout out to the Discord member that put us on. His name is Sri. So shout out to Sri for putting us on. And I guess this is a perfect time to plug in our Discord. So make sure you guys go to the link in our description and join our Discord. We have a nice community starting over there. And yeah, we'd like you guys to be a part of it. And maybe you guys can put us onto some good anime too. So, anyways, Owen, let's start this off. Give me your first impressions about Heavenly Delusion. What did you think of it?
Okay, first out, shout out to dude again on the one on the Discord. Because this show is actually crazy. Honestly, to start it all off, it's an anime that doesn't feel like an anime to begin with, right? It feels like a regular show to me. It feels like a show that I would see on like CW or something. Not something like I would see in anime in general, but there are similarities between like movies that I do want to get into later on for sure. But I'm gonna give it like there's a couple sections that I want to go over, and like probably the first section of this I want to go over is the animations. I will give like a brief opinion on that. So the animations, right? They're not like flashy, right? Like Demon Slayer. They're not like crazy fight scenes like we've seen in One Piece. But the animations, they make the world building of the show so great. The way they pan into the shots, to do like zoom in, zooms, zoom outs, just those type of transitions and animation. It kind of makes it feel like it's a movie. Did you feel that when you were watching it?
Dude, I felt that 100%. Like the cinematic effect is just insane. Like it doesn't feel like an anime episode, but pretty much like what you said. Like it just has that weird feel to it. And honestly, one of my regrets might be that I didn't watch the whole thing altogether because it almost feels like these episodes are like movies in a way, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I kind of regret watching it on my phone, bro. I'm not gonna lie. So, like, I watched it on my phone right before I was going to sleep, but I really just wished I took out the time during the day and watched it on like a full screen TV because the animations themselves were just so crispy. Like, I feel like me watching it on the phone kind of messed it up for me. And even though I watched on the phone, I'm still saying these animations are literally crazy. Obviously not Demon Slayer level, but it's not. I'm not even comparing it to Demon Slayer because there's no fighting that's happening. We're not getting those type of animations anyways. Demon Slayer excels in like fighting animations. This the animations here were like movie animations. Like you know how like movies do cuts, the way movies do cuts. Like I'm not talking about anime movies. I'm talking about like real Hollywood movies and whatnot. Like they kind of took that Western style of cinematography while they were doing the animations. But I think out of even all the categories I'm gonna talk about, I think animations at the lower end of the spectrum. The plot, it's okay. So the next thing I want to go into is the world building. And do you want to touch upon that first?
Yeah, I think we should start off by reading the synopsis
Okay,
and
okay. Let's give
kind
yeah,
of
okay.
just yeah. So do you want to
Okay.
read the synopsis?
Okay, I got it. Within the safety of the walls, youths are raised in a nursery-style setting by robots. While life may appear stale on the surface, the children are full of potential and curiosity. In many ways, it's like a slice of heaven. The outside world is hellscaped, is almost entirely void of anything mechanical, and is now inhabited by bizarre yet powerful supernatural beings. Okay, so this whole like system of the walls, it's okay, so I'm gonna give you like an example, and this is a reference to Maze Runner. If you guys ever watched Maze Runner, this is Maze Runner in anime form. Okay, so if you enjoyed Maze Runner, and I'm pretty sure most people who've watched Maze Runner definitely enjoyed it because I mean that was just a sick ass series, to be honest. This is literally the anime version, and it does not disappoint at all. But what do you think about just your general introduction to this series?
Right. So the first thing that I was going to say is, first of all, we didn't even talk about this. Like we both came in completely blind on each other's opinions. But yeah, the first thing that came to mine was kind of Maze Runner, as well as like a few other series. Like I thought of the Last of Us too, because there, there's kind of like a community within these walls. Like maybe it's not the same like with I don't know if you watched The Last of Us, but they have
I
like
actually have not. That's not. It's. I haven't watched
Mhm.
The Last of Us, but guys, you know what's funny as hell? So after I watched the episode, right, I kind of was telling Aray about. I texted him, and we both literally said Maze Runner at the same exact time. Like
Crazy, man.
literally, like this is literally Maze Runner in anime. So like the action, you get the action, you get the mystery, you literally get all of that. And it's like the way they put it, like the way they set it up within the first two episodes, genuinely crazy.
Right, exactly. Like one thing that I liked about it is there's like two different stories that are going on. So kind of getting back to my point is about The Last of Us. So there is an
Yeah.
outside world. It is, obviously it's inhabited by they mentioned in the synopsis like these supernatural beings. It's not exactly that per se. Like in The Last of Us, obviously have like zombies or like whatever you want to call it, right? Like undead, whatever. But in this show, they have that same element of like, something went wrong with humans. I'm trying to not spoil the anime for those of you guys that haven't watched, but obviously something happened to the outside world, right? And then they also have like another community that's like confined within walls that's like kind of being controlled by like another entity. For example, in The Last of Us, it was Fedra. I don't remember exactly what it was for Maze Runner. And then obviously in this anime, there's like they say robots, but it's not exactly robots. There's like a director, and there's just so much like things that we don't know about it yet. And I guess that kind of leads me to my next point. Like the thing that is successful for these animes and these shows, I think there's like a winning formula, and that's starting to become a trend in my opinion. So like let's take a step back. So it's not just The Last of Us, Maze Runner, but when I was talking to Sri, he was like, "Yo, it's kind of like Promise Neverland," and I kind of see it too. Have you watched Promise Neverland?
I actually haven't yet, but I
Damn.
was watching a review on the show on the first episode, and the I forgot who the YouTuber was, but they
Mhm.
said it was just like Promised Neverland too. And honestly, if this is like Promised Neverland, I'm definitely watching that too.
Okay, so I'll be honest with you. Promise Neverland season was extremely fire. The second season they kind of butchered it. I'll be honest, but for the fans or all the people listening out there that kind of know what I'm talking about, you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. But anyways, it's the same concept of about being trapped within a wall and having that curiosity to kind of find out what happens outside the wall. It's the same thing with this series with Heavenly Delusion. So there's that concept. It's also has similar parallels to like Attack on Titan, where it's like a community that doesn't know anything about the outside world confined in the wall, and there's obviously an outside the wall community. So I feel like that intrigue and that mystique is like such a successful component that is really going on in a bunch of different anime, not just this one. And this one is starting to do it too. But yeah, I think it's really successful nowadays and it might become a trend.
I think to add on to what you're saying, right? I think we kind of get to see it from both sides, right? So it's like okay, for Attack on Titan, right? We see it from Eren's side, but then we also see it from like the Eldian side or like the Marleyan side. So it's like they kind of give you like a choice of who do you want to pick? Who are you rooting for? They give you a choice of who you're rooting for, and I think that kind of gives like people more options per se. Like even in this, right? So there's two stories going on. And you know what's crazy? Like they have two stories going on, and it looks like the same exact characters are playing those two stories, which just like
Yo, seriously, it's
kind
so
of mind
trippy,
fucked
right?
the shit out of me, bro.
It's
Yo,
so
it kind
trippy.
of mind fucked the shit out of me, bro. Like we got the same. Honestly, in the beginning, right when I saw the same face, I'm like, yo, I really thought that it was just like a couple years later this was gonna happen, or like I thought maybe the future was that they already got to heaven and they're showing that, or like it was kind of weird. I really thought they were the same person, but then turns out those two people are actually different, and it was intentionally like that. But like, yeah, that part was just way that part was super weird to me. But I think they do that where they give you an option of where to choose, and they like again with that mystery, they give you both perspectives, but both perspectives have not combined yet into each other. So it's like you have mystery from each side, and then the way it's going to like formulate within the plot, they're both going to connect at a point, and that point is going to be super crazy.
Right. Like, I pulled up like the characters. So for those of you guys watching on our YouTube, you can see like the similarities between Kiriko and Mimihime and Tokyo and Maru. Like they have the same color hair, the same, pretty much the same style hair too, for the most part. Like it's so weird. It's like the same parallels, but like two different perspectives. And obviously they are two different people because one's within the walls and one is in the outside land. So it's like it's so trippy, you know what I mean? Like I honestly don't know where it's going. And for all we know, they could both be evil, they could both be good, they could both have like an intertwining destiny, or they could just completely not meet at all, you know what I mean?
You know what's actually crazy now that I really think about it? I think I kind of have a theory, even though I didn't really like maybe the manga's out. I don't even know if there's a manga for this. But a theory that I just had was like, you know how it's Eren and Zeke? Maybe it's like Maru and
Yo.
Tokyo. Or it's like they're supposed to be brothers, but they don't know they're brothers. And
Yeah.
then
So they Maru, who's the dude that's in the outside world, he said like he doesn't even know why he's supposed to be looking for heaven, you know what I mean? But he said that he's supposed to be looking for somebody with the same face as him,
yeah,
which
there's so many mysteries to that, honestly. Like who is the person that's kind of like directing him? Like
yeah,
it's
like why
just
is he
so
listening
many
to this
unanswered
random
questions.
right? Why is
Yeah.
he listening to this random person? And why do they know like that this person has the same face as them? And why do they say, oh, you should go find heaven? Like you have to go find heaven. You know what I mean?
Yeah, honestly, like because we've watched so many anime, I really think that this is out of all the anime I've watched, this is definitely like top 10 in the first two episodes. Like as in like these first two episodes were really good. Like they kind of they give you enough information to get you intrigued, but they also give you enough info. They don't give you enough where you're questioning so much shit. Like there's so much shit I'm questioning that it has me literally at the edge of my chair watching this. Like it has a bit of the fighting, it has a bit of the world building, it has a bit of like everything. That's why I think that the maybe the authors are trying to target all aspects of anime. And I think this is probably a very good way to do it because we have humor, we have like romance. Even though it's very little, we do have romance. We do have fighting, again, even though it's very little, we do have fighting. We're huge on mystery, we're huge on world building, and we're huge on like picking a side, I would say. Yeah.
Dude, can I point out one thing though about this
What's
show?
up? Yeah.
Honestly, man, I feel like it's super unpredictable, and that's what I kind of like. I don't like anime to be completely predictable. With this anime in particular, I have no idea what the hell is gonna happen. I can give you a couple examples. They might not be the best examples, but here's one that really came into my head. Right,
Yeah.
so um, I'm trying to do this without spoiling, but let's just say this: there's these two characters, right? Obviously it's all right. So I'll just say this: it's not much of a spoiler. So it seems like Mimi Hime, and I think his name was like Tokyo or something like that. Tokyo. It seems like they like each other, right? You know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
But then
Okay.
all of a sudden, like in a random scene, in a random part for no reason, we see Mimi Hime send like this one weirdo, psycho, creepy looking kid an explicit like photo of herself. You know what I mean? Which
Yeah,
was
yeah, 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 yeah. That
honestly
was
that threw me off. Like that was so unpredictable and random. You know what I mean? Like
yo,
you would assume that Tokyo and Mimi Hime are like typical anime sweethearts. You know what I mean? But that was so random and out of pocket too. You know what I mean? Like that was like what the
look,
hell?
almost I'm gonna say one thing, right? I'm gonna say one thing right now.
Yeah.
This might be out of pocket, but all I'm gonna say is these hoes ain't loyal, bro. My boy, bro, Tokyo really trying to get that. And she's out here trying to make an OnlyFans. Yo, what's going on?
Yo, yo, for real. He made all that OnlyFans grind for free,
Yeah, yeah,
for
she's
free content.
hustling out there, bro.
Dude, but you get what I'm saying though. It's so random. Like, where did that come from? Like, or
Yeah,
what was the
literally.
purpose of that? Like, because they
I,
just
I don't know
left
if
it.
they're gonna build on that. I honestly don't know if they're gonna build on that. I don't know if it was humor. I don't know if it was due to relatability, as in
Mhm.
like, um, they know that this happens within schools and whatnot. So they like, I don't know. This is how detailed they want to be that they're showing people getting nudes. Like that's how crazy detailed it's gonna get.
Dude, that was just
I don't
straight
know.
out of pocket, man. Like, why, man?
Yeah, honestly, I don't mind, right? But low key, I don't know if they're gonna build on this. I don't know if they can build on this. I don't
Yeah.
know if
So,
the
so,
author is just a horny bastard or something, but
oh my god.
yeah,
So one thing that I remember from the first episode was Mimi Hime kind of like predicted something about like the test happening. You remember that?
yeah. That was kind of weird. She
Yeah.
definitely has some type of power. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we spoiler alert for anyone who hasn't watched it. Just skip like a couple seconds. Yo, that's that power. Like there's definitely some power system in this. With
Yeah.
like with
There is.
Tokyo having his arm like when he went when he started combating the what do you call those creatures?
Oh no, no,
The
that was Maru, but yeah,
yeah,
he
Maru, yeah.
violated that creature. Like he was dodging the whips or whatever that was, and just
Yeah, yo. No, he's like okay, so the power when he touched the dude, he touched the creature, and his hand went through the creature, and then it grabbed its heart and it kind of like
yeah.
squeezed it. You know what that reminded me of?
What?
That reminded me of Law using fucking Caesar
That's
OD,
hilarious.
just having Caesar's heart in his hand. Like that's the
Mhm.
power that Maru had technically with that dude. But Law
Right.
was just doing it out of the
Right.
body. Bro, I feel bad for that dude Caesar.
Dude,
Rip
now
Caesar.
that I'm thinking about it, right? There were more powers. So obviously we got Mimi Hime and like her kind of, I don't know, future reading. I don't know what to call it, like her
Yeah, future
prediction
sight
stuff.
type thingy.
Future sight, yeah. Then we had Maru and whatever the hell he just did. And then remember that one kid? I forget his name.
Yeah, I know what
Taka,
you're
yeah.
talking about.
Dude,
Yeah.
went all the way on top of that like weird pole and then he fell down and nothing happened.
Yeah, even
Like
when he
he
jumped from like the second floor, he did like a flip and he landed, and he was all good to go. This guy is some weird like superhuman type. I don't know. He has like
right.
some Sanji type body, like you know.
Right.
Actually, no spoilers for the One Piece thing, but yeah, he has. He has a
Dude,
very
it's
durable. He has a very durable body or something. I don't know what's wrong with
yeah,
these
yeah.
kids. I think there's
Right.
something wrong with the kids. Either there's something wrong with the kids, or they are doing something to the kids that are making them that much
Right.
crazier.
So you didn't watch Promise Neverland, so I can't really go too much detail with you. But let me just put it this way without spoiling
Yeah,
Promise Neverland too. Obviously there was like a hidden agenda by like the people that were running. So like the director, for example, right?
yeah.
Like there's a hidden agenda. Like they're doing something to these kids by testing them, by doing certain things, right? To kind of get their attention and just kind of I don't know what they're training them to be, or if they're making them weapons, or they're making them, like soldiers, or what the hell is going on. You know what I mean? But there's obviously something that's going on in the background that we don't know yet, and we don't have enough detail. Kind of
Yeah.
similar, yeah, kind of similar to Promise Neverland, which again I'm not going to spoil. But
Even Maze
yeah,
Runner had the same like kind of
right.
plot where it was the same thing with there was this director, old lady, weird ass like creepy ass vibes. Like this is the same
Mm-hmm.
shit where like, oh, we'll tell them the truth, but you're not really telling them the truth. You're telling them the truth, but it's like an obvious truth type. Just like they already know about that part. They're obviously not gonna tell you what's really going on. They're like
Mm-hmm.
they're like fake trust. Like they're like very manipulative with the Tokyo, Mimihime, all the people in that heaven, they're
Yeah.
obviously something is going on within heaven, firstly. Secondly, why is there only kids there, from what I've
Right.
seen? And third, like, she just looks mad creepy and she's up to some shit. That's for a
Right.
fact. She's up to some shit. So, like, yeah, if Aray just zoomed in, like, she looks mad creepy, bro.
Yeah.
And she definitely reminds me of like the Maze Runner like director. And I think yeah, they had some shit going on in Maze Runner. They definitely having some shit going on over here, but we need to know what it is, and it's all gonna. It's once we find that connecting point where it's like Maru and Tokyo and this whole thing. Like I think this season, the way it's gonna go is they're gonna get to heaven, but they're gonna
Mhm.
see what how fucked up heaven is actually,
Yeah.
and then the next season is gonna be like, yo, infiltrate or something, whatever. But
Dude,
I think this is just like Maze Runner One, where it's like they kind of are gonna find out that there's a different entity, as in like a higher power than them, and then like figure out how to a way to like kind of take it down or overrun it, because even in Maze Runner, it's like the kids were special. The kids were kind of some of the kids were special at least. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So like another concept of this is like the big brother feel where it's like those kids are being constantly monitored as if like, you know what I mean? Like they're
Yeah,
test
like he couldn't
subjects
even get the
or
ball from the hallway. He had to literally
right,
ask the robot, the AI, to like kind of ask permission to get the ball. And
right,
in his head, he was kind of thinking like, "Yo, what's behind the wall?" But if he said that, he would have been clipped. Like, yeah, he had to keep
right.
that pretty low key. He had to keep that low key, but it's like they're being monitored 24/7. So
Hmm.
we're gonna have to see how they get out of this place. Like it kind of, what it reminds me of. Also, it's like Hunger Games in the aspect of they're in that little dome and they
Yeah,
need to figure a way out. Well, Hunger Games you
yeah,
don't need to, but they're going to figure a way out of this dome, this enclosed space. And it's
right.
like what caused the world to it also, I know I'm like relating this to a lot of different anime, but it does kind of relate to Doctor Stone in the way where not every no nobody's stoned, but the whole world is being revived from scratch again.
Yes,
And
dude. So that really gives me, sorry to cut you off, but that gives
yeah, no
me
problem.
the Last of Us vibe. So like I know you haven't watched it, but again, the outside world, there are human beings living in there as the same thing that, this anime had as well, where they called it bandits, but in The Last of Us, it was raiders. And those raiders will like mug you, they'll take everything that you have, and they'll probably kill you too. It was kind of the same thing that the bandits did in this anime. And then in The Last of Us, like there was like small communities that were controlled by the people. Obviously they weren't as like perfect as the one in this anime, like Tomato Heaven, for example. But it's the same concept. Like you've got people living like outside the walls, you know what I mean? Like they're either living as like lawless people or they're living within like a civilized community, which is I feel like it's one of the funnest things to watch. Like, obviously this would never happen, or hopefully we'd hope that it never happened, like a post-apocalyptic thing. But it's kind of cool just to see,
Hopefully.
yeah, no, it's just kind of cool to see like how everyone would react. And I feel like there's gonna be people that say fuck the rules and become bandits or raiders or whatever the hell you want to call it, and then people that find like a community and just kind of build on it. So I thought that was pretty cool to kind of see. I think they were in Tokyo, kind of just see
Yeah.
Tokyo get like fucked up and it's like full of water and the buildings are destroyed. It was very Last of Us vibes.
I don't like okay, so I think that they only have a choice to become what do you call it? They only have a choice. We don't actually even know what happened. Like we don't know if how many people are even alive. We don't know if people died. We don't know if we don't know what the situation is in terms of like how many people are still alive. But we do know that yeah, there are bandits, and I think that it's separated into two groups. I think it's just kids that are being manipulated, and we have the dumbass bandits, and then we have like the Maru and Kikuru type people, three people. Like we have the lawless bandits that are kind of up to bullshit, up to like living life, like just like the people that are farming and getting high at night. They're just
Yo,
living
that was
life
lit.
as much as they can. Yeah, literally just to survive. They're chilling, and I mean I can see why. I can definitely see why people would do that. They don't know what's going on, and this is the best way to sustain themselves. They might as well just enjoy life while they're, you know, just living. And then we have the people that are controlling it, right? And then we have the people that are trying to find out what is going on. So we have like the adventurers, we have the manipulators, and then we have the people, the bystanders that are just trying to live. I think those are the three categories that we have.
Right,
Four characters right now. But I think the most like the most crazy is gonna be once we find out what the fuck is actually going on. Because
right.
there's so many questions I have, so many questions. Like this is just the beginning, but bro, like guys, this anime is definitely one for the books, and it just started. So this is the best time to catch up. Literally, you could watch 2 episodes tonight. Watch them this week. By the time the next one comes out, you'll literally be caught up. So I think this is the best time to get in.
Yeah, man, 100%. Like 2 episodes, kind of binge it, watch it like a movie, like we said, is that had that cinematic feel. But anyways, let me ask you a quick question on
What's
so
up?
so it's gonna be in the title of this episode. I know you don't know it. I'm gonna name it something like, the winning formula or something like that. I want to
Okay.
know what your opinions on this formula where it's like there's like a wall and people don't really know the outside life, and obviously they feel like they're living in either heaven or they feel safe, but the outside
Okay.
wall is like the outside world is just kind of corrupt or dangerous or filled with like undead or whatever the case may be. What do you think of this formula?
Okay. I think okay. We kind of touched upon this topic a bit ago, but I do think this winning formula is mostly about cliffhangers and about mystery. Okay, and let me explain why. So honestly, most anime nowadays, especially shonen, right? Okay, so I think shonen had an era. So the 2000 era of like Naruto, One Piece, Bleach, I think that was primarily led by shonen, and I think people are. This is just a theory. It's not statistics or anything, but I think people are kind of. First of all, a lot more people are getting into anime, right? So anime is not just just exaggerated fighting now. I don't think that's anime anymore. I think anime has evolved into something a lot bigger, and I think people, especially after Attack on Titan, people have geared towards storyline a lot more than even animation. And I think before the storyline for anime just used to be simple. You used to go, there was a kid, he is trying to become the best at whatever, he becomes the best at whatever throughout the journey, and he accomplishes all his goals, right? I think that was the basic plot of 2000s to 2015 anime, right? And now we're getting to a point where like I think Attack on Titan was kind of the turning point for this, where people have realized that, I mean, authors and probably the analytical people have realized that people love stories of whole nations, or like not just one person doing everything. And I'm getting this from also from like Game of Thrones, because it's not like, okay, so we have one person, right? We have Jon Snow, we have Daenerys, but what they do is they make you pick a side, but they make each side like kind of favorable. They don't make one side evil. Like before it was like evil, good versus evil always, right? Now it's kind of like who's evil, who's not. You pick your side. We're gonna give you a couple of options. We're also gonna add in a bit of romance. We're gonna add in a slice of fighting. We're gonna give great animation, and we're gonna put that all together. We're gonna take aspects of um all the great aspects of anime, and put it all into one, and put a huge twist of mystery on it. I think the cliffhangers and the mystery are like the biggest component, because, and I think that's, I'm not gonna be, yeah, obviously y'all know that I love One Piece, but the reason I love One Piece is because of the way you cannot predict what happens, and we still don't know what's going on. That type of lore we just don't get anywhere, and I think this anime does it to a different level. And I think that's the new winning formula. What do you think about that?
Now, honestly, I agree with you. I think it could be one or two things. One is obviously we were younger when we first started watching anime, and our world was mostly occupied by like shonen, so like Dragon Ball Z and Naruto and whatnot, for example. And there were these different type of animes out there, but we just weren't really exposed to it. And then two,
Yeah.
which is the audience really just grew with anime, and as we grew older, I feel like most people in the US, that's where we're based out of, where we were introduced with the Naruto's and Dragon Balls, you know what I mean? And as we got older, like we were introduced through like Cartoon Network for most people, like Toonami, you know what I mean? Anyways, as we grew older, like our tastes have kind of changed. We're kind of tired of the same old, cliche. Some of us still like it. Like we like My Hair a little bit. We like, Black Clover. It has similar elements. But then at the same time, our taste has kind of changed. You know what I mean? Like we want to see a little bit more darker things. We want to see a little bit more intellectual, like concepts and things that we have to think more of. You know what I mean? Like pretty much all the same things that you were saying. So like a lot of these animes are kind of appealing to us more. And as our generation gets older, more and more content and more anime and manga that are kind of catering to our needs as this generation goes, like are starting to come out because that's what's popular nowadays. It's just my working theory. Obviously, there's no rhyme or reason behind it. I'm just kind of bullshitting and kind of just going with what I feel like is the case. But yeah, man, I totally agree with you.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, there's no set reason of what we don't even know what the actual formula is. We don't know if that's actually even a thing, right? But this is the again, guys. This is our theories. If you think they sound sound, I don't know. I really do think theories do sound sound. I think to add on to what I was saying before about the predictability part. So when I watched Naruto, I am not lying at all when I say, especially the first Naruto, like the Naruto when he was a kid. I would literally say, I'll literally predict the whole Naruto while I was watching it. Like I'll be like, yo, he's about to do this. Next episode, this is gonna happen. And like I was watching it with my cousin, and I kid you not, I'll tell my cousin, yo, this is what's gonna happen, and the same shit would happen. It was not predictable. So I think that um I think the predictability part is what gets people the most, but also like I think I think anime is just so much more, I want to say, in a more comfortable spot now. So before, right, it wasn't very comfortable in the US, right, to for anime. And I think that's why everything was just so over the top, over like it was very Japanese, traditional, going like they kind of made it like I don't know how to like explain it. It's like very upbeat. Now it's not as upbeat, it's more relaxed and chill. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man, I totally get it. Anyways,
Like before, it was like Naruto was like always like, yo, mine didn't know this. We got fucking Luffy going like, yo, I'm gonna become the king of the pirates like every 2 seconds. Like it's always like the hype. We got the Kamehameha screaming. I just
yeah,
think
yeah.
that before, right, everything was
Mhm.
more intense. I think anime's at a more comfortable spot here
Right,
now,
right.
and it's just normal.
Those are like typical shonen concepts. You know what I mean? Like kind of saying out your dream and whatnot, and those are like shonen concepts. You know what I mean? Like we're not gonna get that from a lot of different animes that are starting to come out
Okay,
now. You know what I
gotcha.
mean?
Yeah, okay, so it goes with the theory of they started off with shonen and now they're getting all the other type of um genres within anime
Yeah,
over
I
here
think
now.
they're just becoming a lot more popular. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
but yeah. All right, Owen. I think that's been enough for this episode of Anime Plus. Honestly, man, I'm looking forward to Heavenly Delusion to see where the direction of the story goes. I think that the unpredictability, as well as like the animation and the story in general, I think it's gonna be a fun one, man. What do you think, real quick?
Okay. So guys, whoever firstly again, I'm gonna reiterate this. If you like Maze Runner, you're definitely gonna like this anime, firstly. Secondly, like I'm a huge, shonen type of guy, but this is peak. Like this is very good. This is like um has so much like I love plot, and if anyone loves plot more than animation, even animation, I'm not the animation's crazy as shit too. But if you love plot, this one's for you. And I honestly think this is gonna be one of the best ones in the season, in this spring season for sure. And I can't wait for what it brings, honestly.
Swag. All right. With that being said, that's gonna be it for this episode of Anime Plus. Make sure you guys check out our bio, join our Discord. Again, shout out to Sri for putting us on this anime. You know, he told me that the manga has slightly more detail, but like ignorance is bliss, man. Not even knowing what happens in the manga and just kind of going in blind to this anime, I feel satisfied. So I'm gonna keep it at that. But yeah, again, shout out to Sri. Make sure you guys join our Discord as well, so you guys can be part of our community. All our links to pretty much everything, all our socials are gonna be in the description, as you guys can see over here. Legit everything from our YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, our Discord, and our website is coming pretty soon. And yeah, all our podcast episodes are going to be on that website as well as any stream platform. That means Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or anywhere that you guys watch or listen to your podcast. That is. But yeah, with that being said, peace out, guys, and we'll catch you guys on another episode of Anime Plus. Peace.
Peace out.